Good afternoon, fans of Free Enterprise, and welcome to today's best of 8, round of 8, best of 3 match between Zilch6 and Fleury14. I am Baka Shinobi, and I am joined by Valvala Skunk. How are you doing today, Val?
I'm doing really well. Excited to see this Rydia start. You know I love Rydia.
Rydia is definitely going to be an interesting start. She can go and do a lot after she gets a level because she's the only character who starts at level 1 and 30 HP and 4 agility, which is a lot less than pretty much everything else in the game, so gonna need to baby her a little bit to keep her going.
It also depends, who is that second character going to be. You could also just be like, yeah, Rydia, you just get to be an agility anchor today.
True, if you start with Sid or Kane, you can definitely go and just clear through everything without too much issue. Rosa would go and be pretty nice, though might need a Dancing Dagger or a good bow for damage. Edward would be tricky because he's going to go put you on team 90 HP, where your team has a grand total of 90 HP. You're not even going to take a 3-digit attack more than twice.
Well, that would be fun to watch. So let's hope our runners get that. But definitely going to look forward to this race. As you said, this is the brackets top 8.
Indeed, we are deep into the brackets rounds. We've got people getting close. I believe the winner of this match, well, the winner of this set, it could be Fleury if he wins today, or Zilch if he wins this in the next race, will be going on to face Invenerable in the next round. So let's see how desperately they want that privilege.
Probably pretty badly. And, both Zilch and Fleury are incredible runners. So it's going to be anybody's race, just who makes the right call at the right time. But we are definitely off.
And we start with the Sid, who is the highest level character you can start with at level 20. And we start with the Sandruby, so we could get a bonus character, which would be very helpful. That could be anyone from the pool, as normally Edge and Fasuya need a key item in order to be added to your party, or have a chance to be added to your party even. But with a Sandruby, it's a key item, so it could be anyone.
At Sandruby is a nice starting item, because it potentially could be another character.
And we keep saying potentially because on these flying sets, it's distinct 7. There are only 7 different characters, and there are no dupes allowed, so if it's Sid already in the bed, well, you started with a dud.
I believe I saw a couple boss hunts in there, and a unlock the door in Troya, so you definitely are going to be getting the pass this time.
Yep, you're required to get the pass. You're required to hunt down 3 bosses, I believe. The officer of the Officer Soldier fight from originally in Kaipo in the package spot, the Dark Imps who are originally in the Super Cannon room, and the Evil Wall who is in the Sealed Cave. In addition, we do have to open the pass door and the door to Sealed Cave. Don't have to complete it, we just have to open it. So basically, we're looking for 2 key items and 3 bosses.
Boss hunts are always fun, though sometimes they can be a little bit trolly. But not too bad on the key item hunts, especially since, you're not having to be required to do the Sealed Cave, and you love seeing pass as one of your requirements, because that means, oh, yay, no walk of shame today.
That said, you could still be stuck in a situation where you're hunting the moon for your objective, and let's say the Evil Wall decides he's going to hide out at the Ogopogo spot, and it's just, okay, you can go make that your last boss, and then you're going and walking down.
But we do have our runners both doing a little bit different starting strategies. Fleury went to loot a little bit. Ooh, that's a food.
And that's a Mist Dragon at Waterfall.
Well then, so no demist hunt today, and a early foo. That early foo is going to be incredible, especially if you get some bosses taken care of early on, get him powered up. You're going to breeze through a lot of this seed.
Yeah, Fasuya is definitely going to help you carry the early game. Sid can definitely go and jumpstart that Fasuya because he's going to go and be able to just pound down any of these early bosses with his hammer, even if you don't find a better weapon. So I think we're going to be looking at a pretty quick seed, though we still have the opportunity of needing to go and do something rather obnoxious like, say, Kanaizo at Hook.
I would enjoy a Kenatsu at Hook, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But definitely, it's Sid gonna early start that seed. Sid, doesn't get the best equipment pool, but his early levels and damage is really, really nice for taking out some of these early bosses. And then again, every time you defeat a boss, Fu will gain a random 3 spells and an additional 100 HP until you've killed enough for him to be fully powered.
Yeah, and with how those spells, it's pretty likely early on you go and find probably get a level 2 spell, not after 1 or 2 bosses, then go and beginning to maybe Virus, a level 3 spell, Quake, before you go and wait and get Nuke and just start destroying the seed.
Oh, absolutely. All you need is just that one spell for food to unlock a lot of this seed. It's be interesting to see how the runners route and where they go, because with that food, with that Sid, really the overworld's kind of your oyster.
Agree, and I just saw that there's an Earth Hammer in Zilch's inventory, which is probably one of Sid's better weapons, if I'm entirely honest, so that will help with early damage even more.
Besides just being good for physical attacks, especially early on, you can use as an item to get the Quake spell. While it's not going to be as powerful as, Fu casting it, it can definitely clear out some monsters, especially if you run into like the alt gauntlet early on in the seed.
Yeah, or the Calbrina dolls in Antlion Cave or something. That's definitely going to be helpful. Both are runners doing a fair bit of looting, though I think Zilch is doing more looting than Fleury is.
Definitely seems to be the case. I did see that Flurry picked up a Stardust, so another one of those powerful items that could help wipe out a quick group, or even just straight up kill some of these early bosses.
Yeah, that's something they'll go and give them something to get through some of these early spots that might be a little annoying, though Sid will be able to take care of a lot. I think, though, we're going to get... It's impressive that we're 5 minutes into the seed and we haven't seen a single boss, but we've already got a lot of power on the team.
Oh, definitely. Got plenty of power. Flurry is going to be the first to take on a boss. It is the Pain Man at Antline, something you are definitely not scared of.
Let's see if he can even do enough damage to hurt Rydia. The answer is yes. I think
It is
Rydia is...
still...
Sorry, I was going to say, I think Rydia is the only character that could be defeated by this Dark Knight Cecil.
Oh, absolutely. Even at these levels, Rydia's still level 1. Zilch is going to give us a Mist Cave check, and it's... Ooh, Trollback.
And Zilch is sitting here for the boss. No, okay, Zilch is not sitting here for the boss. I think he considered really hard and decided this isn't worth it.
I mean, you probably could just beat the Golbez. It's just the time sink. Ooh, that's a Dancing Dagger for Cell in Mist. If only we didn't already have, a Sid and Fu. And there's the package from Antlion on Flurry's side.
That package could end up being required because we could have one of our 3 required bosses there.
Oh, that would be great.
It would, but it would feel too early to go and get to that, though. I don't know what character you'd really want to pick up when you already have Fusoya.
I would still, with how early you got it, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to go take a quick peek. Who is the character? It could, if you end up with like a Cecil there, maybe.
Cecil could go and be a good pickup, though.
I would probably take.
It's also an extra boss. Ooh, Rosa would definitely be tempting because, yeah, she's going to go and she'll learn Berserk reliably more early than Fusoya, and it would be someone who's not going to go and have the capability of destroying anything in front of them with one spell to put on Berserk on your fighters.
And we have Flurry taking on the Antlion on the top of Hobbs. Now, you're not going to get the Rydia from this fight, but because it is a boss, you will get an additional 100 XP, HP, and 3 more spells for Fu. So definitely want to take this out. It's easy enough and gonna not take you much time at all.
No, this doesn't seem like it's going to be long, and agreed. It's going to be more spells and HP for Fusoya, where between the two, I think you really care about the spells.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you could get, like you said earlier, an early Quake, an early nuke or even one of the tier 2 or tier 3 elemental spells, that can carry you throughout most of this early game.
Yeah. And we do see Zilch6 going into the Dark Knight CSL fight now, while Fleury has finished that. And I think I saw a Fire 2 unlocked, or is that Fire 1 for Fasuya?
He he could read it faster than I could. I couldn't see what the spells were.
And it looks like Zilch is deciding, I do not want to go and let you talk, so please be bonked.
It makes sense. The spot has very low HP, like around 1,000, I think. Yeah, just a couple attacks from Fu took him out.
Yeah, and that saves Zilch a life potion, which could be relevant as you start with a few of them, but you start with a few of them. I like to have along the lines of 40 or so of them, to be honest.
I agree with you. And we are now over in silver on Flurry's side. I saw a Lilith Rod in the weapon shop. The Lilith Rod's an interesting item. Besides boosting your intelligence, I believe you can use it as an item to steal MP. So throw that on a Fu, and you could just steal MP from Rydia throughout the seed.
Yeah, and you might feel very tempted to do so if you want to do something like, say, a D-Machine grind and get Rydia up to extremely high levels very quickly.
Oh, absolutely. While Rydia does usually take a lot of experience, if she can reach those nuke levels, she is a very strong character.
Agreed. Nuke's a really good spell, and it's really nice to be able to go and blow it up. Zilch is following in Fleury's footsteps of going up to Mount Hobbs, going to probably put this antlion and pick up another Rydia who doesn't join because there's no dupes. Kind of surprised neither of them have gone and checked what summon they get on the other entrance of Mount Hobbs.
Would you even bother if you had a Fu?
Without any spells on Fasuya, I would be tempted just to see if it was Sylph, to be entirely honest.
It would be worth a check, but in a race like this, you have Sid to get through the early game. You just need to get Fu a few spells, and you're going to be fine. It would be a little bit too much of a time sink, I think, to wait for it. We do have Kainatsu here in Fabul. Kainatsu at this spot, not very threatening.
No, but it is another spot where Iridium might not go and survive and might not get experience, which could go and slow. Well, if you want to go and slingshot Iridia, that's still just fine and dandy, because keeping her more than 5 levels behind the median of the party is going to go and make it much easier for you to go and get that massive experience boost.
And Flurry went ahead and just bonked Rydia on the head, take her out, not let her get experience. So you definitely get a slingshot on her if everything lines up for it. Or worst case, she could always be an agility anchor.
Very true. Ooh, and Zilch checking the store and finding Ether 1s, which could be quite important for this Fasuya.
So we've seen Succubus, Lilith Rods, and the Ether ones. So definitely a nice set of items and weapons for a mage-based party. Zilch right on Flurry's heels coming into this Kainatsu fight, though hasn't checked Silvera as well.
Correct, though he did get through the antlion fight faster than Fleury, I believe. So I think he's going to be able to pull out better damage faster, because he has an Earth Hammer and a Dancing Dagger to get through some of his early parts. But his Rydia will be in better position to anchor or get slingshotted.
It's what choice do you make? Do you want to let Rydia get the experience now? Ooh, that's an Earth Crystal, so 2 more characters. Or do you want to let Rydia sit on the ground and potentially maybe get a slingshot later? I mean, you also have 7 distinct characters, so there's a chance you might just choose to replace her.
Yeah, that's definitely a very important consideration. And just as that Earth Crystal might get used to open up that Troya Treasury, which on T-Pro, the Troya Treasury has a 1% chance per chest to have a Tier 7 item, and in general has some rather nice stuff in there.
Oh, absolutely. That treasury can help you get some of the gear you're really looking for, especially when you don't know what your party is. It can also get you a bunch of money.
Agreed. And Fasuya did learn Lit 3 off of that Fabul fight, so you're not going to be too afraid of it, I think.
Oh no, Lit 3 on Fu, while it will have a little bit of a longer cast time than some of the spells you would like, it will put out the damage you need in this early game. Or if you run into Odin, pretty much one-shot them, except for on a lot of the moon or a couple of underground spots.
Yeah, it's slow, but it's shockingly good.
No.
Yes.
I saw a Dorfax, there's a Kamikaze, Karate, Dragon Whip, White Robe.
And I believe we saw a couple of rune rings in there as well, or a rune ring and a strength ring. Also, Zilch is going back to fight this Demus that Fleury has not checked in the slightest.
This could be interesting. Don't know when Fleury is going to want to check these spot boss fights. And this early Demist, if he's able to get through it, which he should be able to, it's just going to take a little bit, could let him get ahead in the seed, potentially.
Yeah, the whiffing on that Lightning 3 is definitely not what you want to go and see. Going to queue up the next one, and it's probably going to go and get this one off as Demus is now shifting over where the cast happened later.
There's the Lit 3, there's 4k damage. That pretty much takes care of the Demist. And there's Exit. While not very useful in combat, it's definitely going to be able to let you get out of some of these longer dungeons quickly.
And a tiara in the back of that cave, which is very good for Rydia. Gives her plus 10 wisdom, bunch of defense, lightning resistance, and dragon resistance. Zilch also carefully thinking of which side of Mist he wants to go in on because, well, if you go in on one side, you get the package cutscene. If you go on the other side, you can avoid that should you desire.
Very, very true. I would probably peek the package, especially after you see what this item is, which is going to be the pan. That's an interesting pickup.
Yeah, that is definitely going to pan out for Zilch. We'll see if Zilch goes or if Fleury goes and looks for that, or if Fleury decides he wants to go for more reliable checks.
Very, very true. And both are. Ooh, that's an edge. That could be an interesting pickup. Um, I would probably take Edge because it's still early enough in the seed where he will be useful. So with a party of Fu, Sid, Edge, that's quite a bit of power on your team.
I agree, especially since Fleury has a mute knife, which is going to be very good for mage shape bosses. And getting that, you haven't fought any of them yet. They're not required, but you might find them in your way somewhere. So why not go and pick up an edge?
Oh, absolutely. And you never know if you find that spoon or, an Excalibur and you don't have a Cecil, that's some throwing weapons that could really change the pace of the seed.
I also appreciate how on Fleury's side, even Titan knew it's ready as nap time.
Isn't it always Rydia's nap time?
I mean, when she has nuke, you usually want her to go and be up and alert, but it's a 50-50 type of deal.
Very, very true. But both are runners choosing to take this edge. I can't fault them. And it also lets you check another boss. And potentially, it could be one of the bosses you need. But regardless, it's still going to give you another 3 spells for Fu.
Yeah, I can see this being a very. It might seem like, is it really necessary when you're looking for 3 bosses? You need to, and you want more spells on Fu, and you don't know if you're going to be going in a hook route. The faster you get to nuke, the better position you're going to be in. I feel.
Oh, absolutely. And this boss, it's going to be very, very easy. Blink and you might miss it on some of our runners, for either of our runners, honestly. Though CPU does kind of change that a little bit.
I think if you have an Earth Hammer or something, some item to throw, you can just take this out without too much issue. As it's not going to have that much HP here, right? You can't only have more than, well, it had 260 health, so didn't really has between 248 and 260 HP.
I always forget how low the HP at this spot is. I mean, Remedy just healed for 2 on the attacker, so very, very quickly done, both runners.
Fleury gets exit while Zilch is a boss ahead after killing that Demus is going to get new spells. Wall, Ice 1, and Fire 2, nothing like that Lit 3, but the Fire 2 can be a bit helpful as that Lit 3 is pretty slow.
Exactly. The Lit 3 is a little slow. Fire 2 is going to come out a little bit faster. And there's quite a few bosses that are weak to fire, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a healthy number at the very least. You can go and get Mylon. You can go and use that to reflect kill in early spot elements. Those are definitely the ones that stick out in my mind. D-Lunars as well could go and take extra damage from fire.
And then we now have Flurry heading up to Ordeals. I like this. Now, you don't have a Cecil or a Tella, but you have Fu. So 3 bosses and a key item. Oh, please sign me up right now.
Agreed. Meanwhile, Flurry is going in equipping the macro glitching their edge, going into town. I'm going to guess they're going to clean up their inventory and sell some things before they go into that treasury and do a bunch of looting.
Oh, absolutely. That treasury is going to be very nice for him. Like you said, the strength ring, a couple rune rings, and there's even a dwarf axe in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, if you don't go and find a cursed ring and you have Sid, you can kind of make Sid anchor with a dwarf axe in a pinch because Sid's agility growth is rather poor. So give him a dwarf axe and he's going to -5 agility. Might not go and be the worst thing to go. Well, might not be as good as a cursed ring, but it's definitely going to make Sid pretty slow.
Oh, very, very true. Lost my train of thought, but we have Dark Elf as our first boss on Ordeals. I don't think we're going to be worried at all.
I think the worst thing that can happen is someone gets piggied or Rydia survives.
Well, I saw Flurry set up to attack Rydia. She is taken care of, and there's the Lit 3. Unfortunately, it's not going to kill, but it will force the phase change.
Yep, that is something where it always requires a minimum of 2 hits to kill Dark Elf because its HP, its Dark Elf form actually has more HP than the spot. It then goes to the script and summons the Dark Dragon form of Dark Elf, so that could be something. Also, noticing that the Troya Open Treasury has 2 Asura summons.
Well, I mean, in a pinch, it could work. Our back attack spot is, ooh, that's a Wyvern.
Well, Edge is pretty speedy, so it's probably not going to be too unlikely that we get Starbells off.
No, I don't ever mind seeing back attack Wyvern. It seems like he's always delayed, so you never feel threatened by him.
Board did go and make it so that Wyvern takes an extra weight at the start of these back attack spots. Otherwise, it would pretty much just always kill you because back attacks guarantee that the enemies start with their ATB gauge filled and yours start empty, which means that if you have to survive, if you have to deal with a Mega Nuke, it's literally impossible for you to get an action before the Mega Nuke goes off.
Very, very true. And if that was the case, you would just have to hope for a dodge. But we do have a little bit of divergence. Zilch choosing to go up Tower of Zot. This will get you 2 more bosses, a key item, and potentially 2 more characters.
That's that could be pretty helpful as Fleury's finding the rat tail, not immediate value, but could be slightly delayed value. Also finding another moon boss.
Well, there's our 2 scary moon bosses, Wyvern and Ogopogo, quickly just not going to be a threat this seed.
Not even getting the chance to do much of anything.
With that, Ordeals is done. I saw Quake on Flurry's side. And there's one of our required bosses on Zilch's side, the Evil Wall at Magus Sisters.
That is definitely something you're happy to see. So Earth Crystal, not technically required yet because you can still get to this point without using the crystal or without needing the crystal. You can just come up here whenever, but definitely highly incentivized. Meanwhile, as pointed out in chat, there are none of the 3 required bosses here on Ordeals.
No, you didn't get any of your required bosses here on Ordeals, but you're happy to see Wyvern and Ogopogo very, very early out of the pool. You just got 3 more bosses for food, so you don't feel bad. And you got the Rat Tail. No value yet, but later on, potentially.
Yeah, you still have 2 key items to find, so I can definitely see you thinking, okay, this is good enough. Especially since Quake on Fu, yeah, that's going to take out a lot of bosses, like, say, Evil Wall at Zot.
Zilch makes quick work of that evil wall. There was Berserk on his side, so that's going to be nice. Fleury now heading over to the Baron Inn. Again, another 2 bosses and another potential character we haven't seen yet.
Indeed, it can't be, oh my, it's Dark Imps, which is a required fight, and Rosa, which is just the what made you want to see.
Oh, absolutely. You're thrilled to see a Rosa. We do now know that the Golbez spot will be Dr. Luge. That second Fu, unfortunately, not going to be in your party, but information is powerful.
Yeah, and we could get eyes on our 6th party member, or we can just simply go and get another duplicate. Ooh, and Fleury finding Valvalis here. I believe the spot is not immune to magic, and I'm just noticing that Zilch found both the characters who are captivated behind a key item, and I wonder how he feels about going and doing package now.
Oh, it feels bad that you've already done the package, but still, at least you got a boss, and it's kind of funny that we had Fu and Edge in Tower of Zot.
Oh
But,
yeah.
well, there's another of our dragons, although he's not really a dragon. Bahamut at the top of Zot, and Val going down quickly, and another one of our required items, the Luca key from Baron Inn.
Baron M being a 2-for-1 is definitely good for Fleury, but this also means we don't. That means that the way underground is through Earth. Fleury is going to be required to go up this tower and fight that required evil wall.
This is very, very true. So here's the question. Are we going to get the hook route? Are we going to get the magma key? Or are we going to have another fetch quest and say, oh, I don't know, Twin Harp?
I like how you think. Ooh, and Fleury is going and checking the waterfall now, is going to discover that D-Mist who will give a pan.
And Zilch just got Quake. And the nice thing is for Fleury, his Fu is more powerful and he's got a little bit more of a party. This D-Mist is not long for the world.
No, I think, well, I don't know how well Fu, okay, he's defending with Fu, so Fleury is going to be very dedicated to make sure our slingshot comes off, it seems, as he is killing off both Rydia and Rosa.
And get prepared. We have a hook route today.
I wonder how much more of the overworld Zilch is going to do before he goes and dives that hook, because we could still get a magma key behind the rat tail. It will not be a logical progression underground because we already found it, but it could still be there because also Wyvern's on Ordeals and he can't block the logical path underground.
Very, very true. So I'm pretty certain Zilch is going to check both Ordeals and getting ready for this Baron Inn, simply because that's 5 bosses. That's a lot of power going into your Fu very, very quickly and very easily.
I agree. It's hard to go and justify anything but doing both those spots before you go underground.
One nice thing, though, that Zilch did was he got that D-Mist before he checked the package, so he was able to route both of those together. Fleury did not, so he did run into one of those NPCs.
Yeah, those NPCs can, well, NPCs are always the bane of your existence because they just like to go and block you.
There's a reason why there's Kypomus as one of our Zeromus sprites.
Very true. And here is Fleury going and getting started on the Tower of Zot as Zilch is just finishing up Baron N. Judged by both of them are pretty much going through one spot that the other hasn't, it seems. Though Zilch is a bit behind in confirming to going there. We'll see if Zilch commits to the to Ordeals, or if Zilch chooses to go up the tower or go down the hook route through Upper Babel.
It might be a little bit of a tough call because your food does have Quake. He has Lit 3. Your Sid and Edge, between the three of them, you should be able to get through the Eblon Cave pretty easily. But choosing to do Ordeals, I do like this play. It will get your Fu even more spells and be more powerful.
Yeah, I'll get you that much closer to Nuke, which I'm not certain which of our runners is closer. I think Fleury has one more boss kill over Zilch at this point.
When they finish their respective dungeons, both of them will have killed the same amount of bosses.
Yeah, and I haven't seen spells for well, I haven't noticed the spells that Fleury's been learning, but he does have Berserk and Cure 4, which both of them are very nice spells to go and have.
And quickly getting that Berserk onto the edge, gonna rip through this evil wall pretty quickly. And Zilch now at his Dark Elf fight shouldn't have too much trouble with that.
Yeah, I don't see either of our runners getting stonewalled by these bosses.
And while our runners are just covering each other's tracks, we're just going to give a huge shout out to the Restream team today. Dathis, of course, handling the Restream, and Ravlin taking care of pushing buttons and making sure we see what our runners have found. So thank you both so much for your hard work.
Yes, thanks to them, we can go and actually have a stream going on, and I can go and sit here and just flap my gums like an idiot. Val actually does the hard stuff.
Flapping the gums is the easy part. The other two behind the scenes really do a lot of the work for the restreams. And we now have Zilch taking on this Wyvern. Shouldn't be too worried. Should be able to get the Star Veil off. Is choosing to attack, though.
This is bold. This is greedy.
That is Quake coming out. And didn't have to waste the Star Veil. Quake, Edge, and Rydia with a Dragon Whip takes out that Wyvern.
This is going to put both of our runs pretty tied because Zilch is going to be going through Ogopogo while Fleury is going through Bahamut here. So neither of them are going to go and have a very long fight, and both of them are going to be at pretty much the same point.
Very, very true. And with both of them having access to Quake and some pretty decent spells, neither of these bosses are going to be long for this world.
No, I don't see much really stopping either of our runners right now. So while we're sitting here thinking about it, what is the worst boss that can go and be on the hook route available to us?
Evil Wall's gone. Ogo, Wyvern, Golbez, they're all gone. Mist is gone. Kenatsu's gone. D-Lunars wouldn't be scary. Plague wouldn't be scary. Asura, maybe?
We've got a Mute Knife, so that's going to go and boost up the damage as well.
I'm trying to think of what would be a scary boss on the hook route, but most of our scary bosses are now just kind of already out of the pool. Who would you think would be scary there?
Odin's probably my biggest pick just because he's a DPS race and you can't just lean. Oh, Fu has nuke, so it's kind of hard to go and say, well, you can't just lean on Fu going and having lit 3 to get through it because that's a slow casting spell. Nuke will just rip through Odin. So,
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there is no such thing as scary boss at this point. I feel you have nuke on Fusoya. You're really gonna need to have something incredibly nasty and rude that go and stop him, and there's not many bosses I'm thinking of that can do that.
Oh no, there's all the bosses you would have been worried about are out of the pool. Val, Kenatsu, Wyvern, Ogo. So
Golbez.
You're not worried about Golbez is just gonna sit on his behind for the rest of the seed in that mist cave and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Odin's could be rude at Leviathan spot, but there's not many other locations. And here we see Zilch and Fleury going and almost in perfect sync. Zilch in a slight lead in checking this rat tail.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. There's no hook rot required. Both our runners are going to get the magma key.
Do you check it anyways, or do you wait until later in the seed to check to see if one of your required bosses are there? Because you still need the Kaipo guards. We've already found 2 of them. Oh. Well, Zilch is going and moving their hovercraft over. I can see them going in, at the very least, checking the character, check the boss, see if it's one of the Baron Guard sprites, and go and check maybe.
You also get to check a couple of shops. You also could potentially get another character if you choose to take them. Plus, you've already done Zot, so Rosa has exit and Fu has exit. It's not going to cost you too much time. That's cabins though in the item shop there, so that's pretty nice to find.
Yeah, cabins were. Those are definitely something you're going to feel good about because you can go to the moon earlier with those, especially with Fusoya. You really don't have many good ways of healing up MP without cabins. So it's good to have those. Meanwhile, Fleury going to Agard, dropping the magma key down the well, and taking care of that entrance into the underworld.
Very, very true. So Fleury will be the first of our runners into the underground, whereas Zilch will have a little bit more information.
Yeah, I wonder what character you'd even want to see here. Maybe Cecil? Tello would probably be helpful as well. Kane is an interesting choice. I can definitely understand leaving him without going through the cutscene, because I don't see anyone in the team you really want to go and give up right now.
I can't think of someone that I would want to give up for a Kane. Kane is a if you had the weapons and gear for Kane, I would maybe take him over Rydia, but I don't know if anyone has it.
Agreed. I mean, if we find an Avenger, that would definitely go and push me to want Kane over Riddy at this point. But really, we want to see a curse ring somewhere. I don't know if Zilch checked the armor shop, because that's gated armor shops are the only place you can go and find cursed rings in S Pro.
Very, very true. So, Zilch, ooh, that's a Baron key. That's 2 more bosses, another character, 3 more bosses actually.
It's only 2 if you remember who gave your starting item, and I don't.
I'm trying to think, and I can't remember.
You were distracted by so many other things, like Sid and Rydia.
And that Sand Ruby. Oh, Antidale coming through and telling us it was Elements or Ruby.
Alright, so not one of the required ones, but not going to be one you're going to be too sad to see there either way, I think.
And we have another Lunar Sparkle in that Leviathan spot, and it looked like Vanilla Asura and Asura.
Definitely not hard, but also not required bosses. Zilch just choosing to go and turn in his pan right away makes sense because you're going to have to do it, and if you want to go and do the Fey March places, you can go and heal up there without worrying about losing all of your HP on another run.
Very, very true. Or, you could be set up, if just as an off chance you find the Twin Harp, you could always just run there and take care of that.
Very true. You've got a lot of chances to find a Twin Harp here. Zilch has and this is effectively 4 free items open to him. Darkness Crystal. That's a nice find. I think we're going to see a grind from Fleury shortly.
Oh, very, 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 very true. That Darkness Crystal will allow Fleury to go do his D-Machine grind. You have access to Ethers. You're going to have weak on Fu. You're about to see his Rosa and Rydia really take off.
So maybe Fleury waits until he finds one more key item, because unless I miscounted, he's at 9 at this point.
Oh no, I'm counting 10.
Oh, I must have missed the darkness crystal.
Eh, Very true. But 10 key items, and you're already turning in the pan anyway, so chances for 2 more. You're going to get that double experience, and the slingshot with the Rydia and Rosa. You are very, very happy. Very much jet seed, and there's sylphs for sale, but at this point in time, meh.
Yeah, I think Artemis Bow, which could be nice, depending on how you want to go and take Rosa and the Leviathan Summon, which could be nice for Rydia as well. If you don't do a big slingshot on Rydia, that could make her relevant in damage.
Very, very true. And that Artie bow on Sid would be pretty nice if you wanted him to put out some damage and give him a little bit of speed. Could throw it on Rosa as well, but think you're more interested in her healing. And we get a check of that Lunar Sparkle. It is Palladium at Leviathan.
That is doable, but not terribly interesting. So yeah, Zilch exiting out. Gonna go and check and get their Artie Bow and their Leviathan summon probably. And then it's a question for Zilch as to where did they go? We still need the pass, we still need to find the officer fight, but otherwise, we're kind of done.
I was first gonna go unlock the sealed cave. If you're gonna spend the time to unlock it, maybe just do a quick dive down, see what the key item is, see what the boss. If it's neither, reset out.
Yeah, I can see saving here and doing a rundown.
Because what at this point would you take? Twin Harp and Tower Key or Pass? Those are the 3 key items you would maybe take from here. And if you run into, the officer, perfect.
Yeah, definitely. Pass is definitely game winning. If Zilch finds this, he doesn't need to go and check anywhere else. He finds a Gungnir Spear, which is pretty good. So if he wants to do a D Machine grind, he can get Kane up pretty nicely.
That wouldn't be a bad pickup. You could certainly just make an agility anchor, or if you found a curse ring, there you go. Go with some Zerk strats. That could work very nicely. The world's kind of their oyster here. They have access to just about everything they could want. Fleury definitely going to go do his D Machine grind right away, and then he's just going to blitz his way through anything else in the seed.
Yeah, and I expect Fleury might also go and check the Elements boss and maybe the CPU boss, depending on what's at Elements.
Potentially, yeah. You still are looking for that last boss.
And they can be anywhere because there's nothing gating them. Murasame is kind of fun, but I don't know if it's going to be worth doing a long fight for.
It would depend on what's here. If it's something quick, maybe. But if it's not a required boss or something you want to... Oh, this is all Gauntlet. You definitely don't want that. You don't want that, Murasame.
Sorry, Edge. No good weapons for you today.
You'll be fine. Don't worry. We just don't want to deal with that today.
We'll see if Zilch is going to go Overworld, is going to go and get just the key items from Sheila, and then they're going to be in this position of where do they go next?
I don't think he's set up to slingshot quite as nicely as Fleury, so I don't know if that's going to be as worthwhile, but still could go do your D Machine grind now.
With 10 key items, I could see just leaning
I'd just go
Fu
Moon.
Yeah, lean on Fu, go Moon.
Especially if you're not really set up for the slingshot, it's not going to be quite as worthwhile to do that D Machine grind. Yeah, you'll be at Zeromus levels right away, but it is a time commitment, and with 10 key items, like you said, you can go to the Moon and get pretty much at Zeromus levels and still be checking stuff at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder if Zilch is going to go and check Dwarf Castle before he leaves to see if the required fight is there, or go to the Moon. He does have a fair number of options.
Does have that Baron key, so is choosing to go to Baron. I like this. It's going to be pretty simple to do, And it is 3 bosses and potentially 2 key items.
Yeah, and here Fleury is saving and just going straight to check the Element's fight. If it's free, maybe he'll go and revise his plans. There is the officer's fight. Required giant check. And you might be able to make a grind off this.
If you have the right setup for it, yeah, you could certainly do your grind there. That's a lot of experience.
I don't see an hourglass in Fleury's inventory, which would be the most convenient way of doing this, as you could do something cheeky like stop all of the soldiers, weak down the officer, set up to life 2, then kill it, life it, and revive it, and just get a truckload of experience off that.
You certainly could. You have a lot of options there.
And Venerable also calling out, you can just go and turn them all into frogs! There are so many options where, yeah, you don't have to stop them if you can go and put a nasty status on them.
Very, very true. They are not immune to status effects. So it looks like Fleury is set up to go take that on. Meanwhile, Zilch finds the elements in Baron.
Yeah, they think they have the element of surprise, but really they have the element of someone has better fire damage than their fire mage.
Quick nuke to the face, and the elements are gone. Fleury is making use of size. I like this.
Really cutting this fight down to a more manageable portion.
So it looks like we're going to have a flavor of Mylon on the throne today.
Mylon Z as the first form of the elements, Mylon Z on the throne. This is just the all Mylon show today.
He's really digging Baron Castle. Now, if only we could get Mylon and friends and Odin, we would have the trifecta.
Yeah, it seems like someone would be really trying to make Baron Mylons. There is that week coming out of the officers, so I think we are likely to see a Life 2 grind. I think Fleury is going in trying to make sure he's got the correct agility set up so he can start an attack, get to Fusoya, queue up a Life 2, and get that right away without losing their officer.
I looked away for a second. Who was the character in Baron?
It was Edge.
Well, triple ninjas that you can't have today.
Oh, this is terribly disappointing for Fleury. The one of the spells he doesn't have is Life 2.
He's just sitting there a little sad.
All of his plans have gone straight down. He either has to reset and take this or just commit to not... He's resetting. Oh.
If nothing else, at least get the life glitch on the officer. That's still a buttload of experience.
Is Fleury going to go and do his D-Machine grind so that he can go and get his... It looks like Fleury is going to go and do a D-Machine grind to get his mages up on experience.
We have a freebie on the underground throne in Baron, the King and Queen Eblon.
Well, that's going to go make Baron free, and more to the point, it's going to guarantee that Zilch's Fusoya... Zilch already has all of his spells on Fusoya, so there is nothing left for him. He's just going to go and be waiting for this to finish off. But if Zilch goes to Giant... Whenever Zilch goes to Giant and checks that boss, he's going to be in a very good position because he could do a Life 2 grind.
He very well could. But we'll see how this plays out, because at this point, would you really go to Giant if you're Zilch?
That is a very good point because, yeah, that's you'd really only want to go to Giant to check that if you think your opponent will for a different reason, like say, would they go into a D machine grind? It's hard to go and guess whether or not your opponent would be very dedicated to keeping Rydia dead and keeping Rosa dead so you can go and slingshot them and bring them way up in power.
So we have some hype on the throne, Drain Spear today.
That is not the value you're looking for, but Zilch walking it out, it is experience. And to answer your question from chat, how does the Life 2 grind vary from normal life grind like Mad Ogres or D Machines? So the life using life potions is a glitch. Enemies have 0 vitality stat, so you can throw a life potion on an enemy, queue it up before they die, finish fading away. They'll go and revive them with 0 HP because the life spell gives the target HP times their vitality. Enemies have no vitality, so they come back, instantly die with 0 health. Life 2 is not affected by vitality in the slightest. It is revive target with 100% HP. What this means is that you can go, kill the target, cast Life 2, revive it, kill it again, and keep on reviving it until you are sick and tired of doing that or you have more than enough experience.
A question that I have for you, doesn't Life 2, when you revive an enemy, don't they come back with their statuses intact? So like size?
Yep. Life 2 does not cure statuses. It goes and just brings you back to full health. If you have size, you're still size, so you are still tiny.
And also, Zilch picked up a cursed ring in Dwarf Castle, so his agility anchor is whoever he wants it to be.
Yeah, he can definitely go and... Zilch is in a position where he can go and, if he wants to, dump Rydia, pick up Kane, and have a fighter team make either Fasoya or Sid the anchor. Zilch has options.
Very, very true. And while Fleury is doing this D machine grind, Zilch is still getting checks in. So if he finds, that pass early on, all he has to do is just check bosses.
Yeah, and then he can just go to the moon and face check every spot, or go to the Giant and face check. I expect you to go moon first because there's 6 bosses there compared to 2 on the Giant and 1's gated behind the element spot, but the sooner Zilch finds pass, the worse shape Fleury's going to be in, because Fleury's going to have to go and blow through all these spots that Zilch is doing now.
Very, very true. And ooh, that's a Cecil. So forget Kane. You could really make use of that Cecil, especially now. You could just kill off that Cecil and go to the Giant, do your D machine grind, and slingshot him. And oh boy, would a slingshotted Cecil be nice.
The real question, do we have a good weapon for Cecil at the moment?
I don't know if we've got anything amazing, but
there are a lot of weapons you can find for Cecil, though, at least.
it's a lot of potential. You got some weapon shops open. You could even still just throw an Artemis bow on them, and it wouldn't be the greatest, but it would work.
Yeah, Artemis bow samurai arrow is definitely good that Rosa just put on.
And Zilch making sure to kill off the paladin, absolutely does want to slingshot him. And go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, so now Zilch does have encouragement to go to the Giant. I'm wondering if that's going to draw him there, and if he checks element spot.
If you're going to Giant, you're definitely going to check that spot. Fleury just using a stone spell quickly takes out the guards. That's another objective done for him.
Yeah, there's just down to the pass, and we find the Legend Sword from Dwarf Castle, so an Adamant turns into an Excalibur, which turns into an amazing weapon, but is still not the Legend Sword you need.
It's certainly not the sword you want to see, but it is a key item, though you're already at 10. is going to do the half tower play.
Yeah, I think Zilch
Keyless
is going to
tower.
charge up Keyless Tower, and he's checking boxes in the hopes he can go and find an alert and get something good for his Cecil.
And Fleury not needing to fight any more bosses, not going to do the CPU spot. His grind's pretty much done. Should be pretty set to go for the rest of the seed.
Definitely in a good position. Fleury is going to be very committed to reflex strats, while Zilch is going to be very committed to to berserker strats.
And
sorry,
I was gonna say there's the alert he's looking for. What were you gonna say?
He is going and trying to farm up sirens, but his inventory is full, so he's not going to pick them up. And even if he gets one, he's going to need to clean up another spot to get multiple. And here we see Fleury is going and checking Sealed Cave as well, that Zilch did. Yeah, Zilch is going to go and just grind sirens, and is going to go and probably take something. Only going into... Oh, yeah, he doesn't have enough room to go and swap to a Thunderclaw, so he needs to get a bit more room in his inventory or heal with a different character.
Gonna put Berserk on Sid, who I believe still has that Earth Hammer. Will do bonus damage to this alert.
Yeah, imagine 1.5 times 4 times... yeah, that's a lot of damage. That's definitely more than you needed to kill that alert.
It's always nice to have overkill, but that's not the weapon you're looking for.
No, it is not. Zilch cleaning up another space in his inventory while he goes and looks like he's going to save halfway up the tower so he can keep the sirens he's farmed up, and then go to the top, fight the boss, and if he doesn't like it, he can just reset back down and save a bit of walking.
Very, very true. So Fleury now finding his Murasame, not going to see that it's all Gauntlet because all he's looking for is the pass.
Yeah, this is... Fleury definitely has the advantage here, as he's got levels, he only needs a pass, and once he finds his pass, well, he has to go back to the Earth and use it on the door in Troya. Oh dear, that's going to be so annoying if it's on the moon, except then you're just walking straight to Bahamut. And Zilch is going and discovering that there's a Baron Guards fight here, but it's not the one he's looking for.
Little unfortunate for Zilch because we already know the Kaipo fight is in the Giant at Elements, but there is potential. If this is the pass with Fleury going to the moon, he could take back the lead. I would say Fleury is just a little bit ahead of Zilch at this point in time.
The other thing I think saves Zilch, a Crystal Sword.
Oh, absolutely. A Crystal Sword Cecil will shred the rest of the seed faster than Nuke on Fu could.
Four ninjas, ha ha. Seriously, do we have a 7th character in the seed, or is it just going to be Edge everywhere?
There's still potential that our 7th character is in the Giant. And that's the only place he could be at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe you're right. Because, excuse me, our 7th character is Kane.
Oh, right. By the way, that is an Adamant, so not as nice as Crystal Sword Cecil, but an Excalibur Cecil and unlocking Kokol's Forge, pretty nice.
Hard to say no to that. That could also go and bring him back because, yeah, Excalibur is still a very good sword, and if you're just berserking, maybe you find Avengers in Kokol's shop to sell and you can go and swing one. That could go and save you a lot of time as well.
Oh, that would be really nice to find. So we do have Fleury going down into the lunar subterranean. All that's left on Earth for Zilch at this point in time is Fey March, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
So if you're hard committed to Earth like Zilch is, would you go straight to the Fey March, or would you go ahead and say, okay, that's just 2 checks, I'm going to go to the moon?
I think you go and commit to getting experience on your Cecil.
Very, very true. You do want to get that Cecil online pretty quickly.
Yeah, and you just picked up a fantastic weapon for him in this Legend Sword Adamant. And you do have a few sirens. You can go and do a lovely little Warlock grind on the moon, get some levels there, and then get going off that.
You got a lot of options with those sirens, but Fleury coming here to the D-Lunar spot, and is this randomized?
Dathis? Oh hey, look, more sirens.
Well then, Sirens for Sale and Kokol's Forge kind of defeats the point of the stealing them, but you're still not upset.
Look, the
Agreed.
people were complaining there wasn't enough of vanilla.
The Lunars are not going to be a terrible fight for Fleury, but it might be a little annoying. Don't know if we're going to go for the frog strats or if we're just going to go for straight mage style.
I mean, as Rydia has 1800 HP, so she's going to have access to the spells you want. You have Cure 4 on Rosa. She's going to be able to keep you alive, and unless they hit you with a nasty breath, I think you're going to be mostly okay with this fight. Is getting the wall on Fu, though.
That seems like reasonable assurance. And Zilch is wanting their big whale, so not going to Feymarch, going to go to the moon or to the giant. And we know the longer Zilch spends not going to the giant, the worse it's really going to end up being for him, as he needs to go there to kill those officer soldiers.
Very, very true. Though I think he's probably going to go to the moon. Don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Zilch definitely has a lot of incentive to go to the moon. 10 key items, all those bosses. You need to go and find a boss and a key item.
Kind of hard to pass the moon.
Yeah. And here's Fleury.
I was also going to say, he also picked up those sirens, so Giant is a little less appealing. And there's the pass. Fleury is in go mode.
This is not looking good for Zilch, unfortunately, as Fleury has levels. Fleury has a team more than ready to kill Zeromus. Zilch still needs to find the officers, still needs to get the pass, and still needs to get levels, so Fleury is looking to be in a very solid position.
Very, very true. The only thing that's a little sad is you don't have your weapons for the edge, but, you know, nuke on Fu, nuke on Rydia, white on Rosa, Cure 4. I think you're pretty okay.
The other thing Fleury doesn't have is a curse ring, so he needs to go and anchor honestly for Zeromus. I wonder if Fleury's going to be taking some time to check shops to see if he can find a cursed ring.
It looks like that's what he's going to do, though the cursed rings, I believe, are in Dwarf Castle, so if he checks there, he's going to be very, very happy with what he finds.
Yep, but he might just say, I'm going to check Baron, and that's it. I'm going straight to the fight. Yep, that's what he's doing. Oh, he's going north. He is going to the pub.
He's going to the pub. Still make this party work for Zeromus. Sid doesn't have the greatest agility, and if you still have that Dwarf Axe, could lower his agility enough. I would also just take a peek at what your agilities are for your characters, and you can manipulate it that way.
I did see Fleury looking, and he saw that Edge has 43 agility, which of the agility you have 28 to get to Zeromus to relative agility 2. 42, I believe, will take Zeromus to Relative Agility 3, which could be very helpful.
But it looks like we have a certain question we're supposed to ask. So, Baka, will you care to do the honors?
I would be more than happy to. We have, in this randomizer, the boss is shuffled everywhere, except for one, Zeromus. He stays where he belongs, on the moon, as the final boss of this game. We do not go and move him around. We do not go and shuffle him in because he's a bit too strong, a bit too big, a little too ugly. So we like to give him a makeover to make him a bit more interesting in our eyes. So get your Z flags out in chat as we find out whose butt we're kicking this afternoon.
And some heartbreak on Zilch's side. He did a reset, and the last time he saved was before he completed the top of tower.
Oh. Yeah, that's... Zilch was in bad shape before, and now he's just in absolutely crushing shape now.
That's heartbreaking to see, especially knowing how good Zilch is. It's just something, happens every now and then. But that unfortunate for him. But there's the Crystal Throne. So wonder what sprite we're gonna get. Come on, 404
I would be more than happy to see. You know what? Let's go and root for Trombone Miss. And I believe this is one of the GDQ incentive sprites, Yeti Miss.
I like it.
Hey, I'm not going to go knock it. It looks great to me.
Just one of the awesome things done by one of our community members, Scala Kitty.
Yeah, Scala went and I believe set up 4 different incentive sprites for the 2018 GDQ, if I'm not mistaken, where Free Enterprise was featured, and this was one of the incentives. There was also a couple others, so if you want to go and see which one won, you might want to go and try and find that GDQ run of Free Enterprise. Inveterable correcting me saying it's AGDQ 2019. Thank you very much. Right. I have a confession to make. I'm an accountant, so I still don't realize that it's 2020 and not 2019.
That's never good.
Look, when everything you're doing is thinking 2019, you go 4 months of the year and still think it's 2019.
Very, very true. But Fleury got the reflect up, bouncing nukes with Fu, with Rydia, and even throwing those whites out. And there's our first big bang, if I'm not mistaken.
First big bang. Are we going to see a second? I'm slightly doubtful.
And just using the Sid and the Edge to make sure that his reflect target is healed up. Oh, the reflect target's Rosa. I missed that.
Yeah, just throwing out some extra damage here, it seems.
Zilch now going into the lunar subterranean, finds that fourth edge.
They go to the bottom, they'll be able to go and find their pass after the D-lunar spot and then just face check bosses, but we know that the place they're going to have to go is the giant. That said, they can still go and get an experience for Cecil that way and maybe try and go and nab an item for to give Cecil a weapon, but we see lots of damage coming out on Fleury's side.
Oh, absolutely. That's about all she wrote with his party and being able to just keep them alive. This Yetimus is not long for the world.
No, even an errant Big Bang is not going to take out Rosa because Rosa has almost 3,000 HP.
I just love the fact that the white mage has more HP than the ninja. And there's another shake.
We might see an extra Big Bang. We might see the other 2 casters go down. But we also, we see a Cure 4 coming out from Rosa, so there's still a chance that Rydia survives and throws out a nuke. We do see the Cure 4 come out. We might see the nuke come out as well.
There's the nuke.
I know we've got to be close. We've been seeing 7,000 and 8,000 damage spells coming out, and it doesn't take that much to get through Zeromus.
Wasn't enough, so we will have the second Big Bang. Does Rydia survive?
Rydia does seem to have pretty low magic stats, and
1 HP. And then
So,
HP
yeah.
run out.
that is a bit of an insult, to be entirely honest, as that's just, we're not going to kill you. We're going to kill you the very slow way.
Oh, you hate to see that, especially in a tournament, because you don't know where your opponent is, and that could just potentially cost you the race. But overall, not going to cost him any time. And Zilch just reset out of the D-Lunars.
I wonder if maybe he's going to scout for an easier boss and try and take that out. I don't know. Zilch has not done any grinding, so maybe he's just hoping to sneak some experience.
Mom Bomb is definitely not the easier boss you're hoping for.
No, that's Vasilia with Nuke will get through it, but the rest of your party might not.
But there's the Flash. Fleury taking first and taking the set. GG, very well played to him. We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview.
Agreed. Very well done on Fleury's. That was a fantastic run for him. Zilch did have some things not go his way and have a little bit of luck go Fleury's way, but both these runners doing a fantastic job this set. Meanwhile, we see Zilch going and queuing up a Meteor to go and take out these Calbrina dolls, and we'll get some experience with their Cecil, but not as much as they like.
And we are now joined by Fleury14. GG, well played.
Thank you. Rather be lucky than good, right?
You certainly had some rather nice things going for you. Just how did you feel when you saw the officers in the element spot?
So I was pretty happy. It's like looking back now at that Zilch did not do a giant grind. I thought with a pretty easily, like, if maybe he didn't pick up Edge, so that might have something to do with it. But I feel like with Sid and an early Fu, that was kind of asking for savior mages for the slingshot. So I was happy that I didn't have to do like other odd boss checks, but I actually expected both of us to find it in relatively short order. And then I was like, okay, I don't really have to do a D machine grind because but I have 10 key items, so it's not like the D machine grind was going to take very long anyway. So like, all right, cool, we'll do a life 2 grind. Let's cast size. Oh, my turn order's all whack because my party agility is all weird. Okay, that's fine. Let's cast life 2. Oh.
I was gonna ask, how did you feel when you discovered you didn't have life 2? As that was one of the last spells you learned.
That was a bummer, and especially learning it like right after that fight. I was like, oh, thanks, game. So I made the decision to say, all right, let's not spend 10 minutes trying to salvage something weird from this. Reset, stick to the original plan. You only need to do 3 you only need to kill 3 dragons to get your mages up to where you want to get them. Do that, cast a quick stone on them, and then go. After that, it was just kind of, all right, what do I guess on? And I guessed Moon, and Moon happened to be it.
Yeah, that was definitely past being at the very high value D-Lunar spot is very much so something you like to go and see, I imagine.
I mean, it's appropriate that it's at a vanilla boss location. This was a Dathaseed. So if you were playing the Dathaseed drinking game of take one drink for every vanilla, yeah, there you go. But it was a little weird because I wasn't sure if, I know the tendency is to kind of clear out Earth first. And I did the Luca Key just as kind of like a defensive option because we kind of saw how a lot of times objective leading to objective leading to objective. And I only had one other transitional item at the time, which was the Twin Harp. So I was like, as long as it's not the Twin Harp, this is going to be a relatively quick check. Yeah, the Murasame being there was kind of like the game saying, ha ha, here's the edge weapon you're not going to use. But after that, I felt like Moon was probably the right play. And I also feel like I need to, change things up. I had been doing a lot of Earth clears earlier, so now need to go to Moon, just to change things up once in a while. I feel like you don't want to get too predictable.
That does sound entirely reasonable. And let's go back to your early game. How were you, was there a point where you were questioning the worthiness of going and keeping Rydia dead, or are you very certain that, yes, it is worth the time to take? I mean, there were some points where you had to go in every fight start killing off Rydia.
It's totally worth it. Absolutely. I've seen enough runs now and done enough practice where the School of Dead Mages is a school I attend and intend to get a degree at. It's far too useful to be able to get them up to Nuke and White at this seed what would have been 35-40 minutes, and getting the Fu there means, all right, I'm not really gonna have any trouble against a lot of bosses unless I get like something really ridiculous. That Golbez being in the Mist Cave was kind of humorous, like, ha, you're not going to get this extra magic spell. And boy, if only I had one extra magic spell going up to the giant.
Very good point. And speaking of early bosses, how did you feel finding all three bosses excluded from the boss safety check in the overworld?
It's the second race in a row, I think. I'm pretty sure our last race, we had 3 of them in the overworld as well. I was actually very happy to see Wyvern at that spot because that's a free fight. So I was actually very happy to see him there. Val was in a spot that blended, so fortunately having the invent spreadsheet by my side, I was well aware I could cast a spell on it and it would be perfectly okay. So that could have been a whole lot worse. But yeah, hello, gating bosses.
Yeah, that was certainly it certainly limited the options you could go and have to get your way to the underground in the form of that hook, the logic hook from Earth, and then the illogical magma key from Rat Tail.
Yeah, it was kind of funny insofar that you're like, okay, well, Val was end up being behind this Rat Tail, so okay, not really going to have anything of value, is it? Oh, there's a hook, so now it could have something of value. Ah, thank goodness. I didn't see who the hook boss was. Do you guys mind telling me who was the gem there?
Well, I believe we're joined by Zilch now. Zilch, would you mind doing the honors?
Octomom, and the other one was Mylon of some sort.
Nice. That's actually that can be kind of a weird one, but I did have a Thunderclaw, and there also are no Octomom laws when you're rocking Thunderclaws.
Yeah, I didn't actually go down the hook route. I just looked at the bosses.
Yeah, definitely thought about actually making the defensive check just to see, because we got 3 boss hunts, which is kind of intimidating. It's the main reason why I decided to follow through with the package. I wouldn't have gotten Edge right away if we didn't have that, because I was like, well, you may see Edge somewhere else, and Fu is probably good enough to carry you throughout the early game, but I was like, man, such an early package with 3 boss hunts. Is it really worth putting that off? I don't know if you did the package check as well, but that was the reasoning behind me doing that.
Yeah, basically same logic. I did it too. figured there's a whole bunch of bosses we need to find. Let's get the edge right now. Edge right after, so, you know.
Yeah, we were both curious
Makes
as
sense.
to what was driving you to there, so thank you for going and explaining that. Zilch, let's talk a little bit more about how you were running that seed. You went and you found you cleared out a lot of objectives early, but then you started going and checking Earth more and more. What drove you to stay on Earth rather than go and check Giant or check Moon?
I still needed a, well, sort of key item in the pass at that point, and there was still a boss I needed to find. I didn't really have a team that needed experience at that point. Like, they could take care of whatever they had. We had Nuking Fu, and Edge had, well, he didn't really have any swords, but he'd still carry his own weight there. So I was just kind of like, get as many checks in as I can in a short amount of time as possible. And I figured I'd find someone, either the boss or the pass along the way. As it turned out, I found neither of them along the way. And, you know, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that was definitely unfortunate when we
Magic.
saw the... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say also that as far as grinding goes, I figured with that team, if I don't go mage strats, literally like one Ryu fight, or if I find the officers on the moon, is enough to get me to Z levels. So it just didn't seem like it was worth the time to do the giant. Unless, of course, the boss was on the giant, which clearly it was. But I don't know. I still stand by my decision.
You know what? I made the exact same decision in my first round match, and it almost burned me. I was like, you know, I'm gonna put off the giant because, from a probability standpoint, their Porum could be anywhere else. And then 7 character checks later, it's like, oh, okay, bummer.
Yeah, that is unfortunately how some of these races go. Zilch, what are your, unfortunately now that you're out of the Fabul Gauntlet, what were your feelings on the tournament in general?
I had a lot of fun with it. Thought it's very well organized. All the runners are great. The organizers are great. Everyone helping out, trackers, restreamers, commentary, minus some puns here and there, are pretty good. But I've had a great time with it, and I really appreciate all the work that's gone into it. So good luck, Fleury. See if you can take down Mr. Undefeated.
That's right, Fleury. How do you feel about facing Invenerable in the next round?
Oh, I knew this question was coming. Well, like, we've both been doing really good. Like, I think both Invenerable and I have, including Swiss, only faced racers that were either in the play-in round or better, and are a combined 17-1. So I'm pretty happy with like how I've done and how he's been doing. It's been a nice run for Fresno State, but unfortunately we have to go up against the tyrant of the ACC in Duke, coached by Mike Invensky. I'm pretty sure he's going to bring in Grant Hill and JJ Redick to help coach him up, or help his team go all the way to the title game. But my goal is to stop that. But like, all kidding aside, like, has been one of the best runners available, like, around, and he's definitely one of the people who I look at the most tape to try to, you know, find optimizations in my play. So getting the chance to face off against him in this high profile setting is going to be incredibly awesome. And I know that I gotta have to turn up the practice even more to 11. There's plenty of tape on both of us, so can't do the push B to jump grinding yet, so that's gonna have to hold off for a little while. But yeah, like, he's really, 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 really good, and I know I'm gonna have to absolutely have my A game in order to take him down and hopefully get the dream title game. of looking for Penguinator on the other end and get a Team Ninja Cert Finals. That's what I'm hoping for. And also, like, Demarine picked me to go this far, so I can't let her down. Always respect your white mages.
That certainly sounds. I'm excited to go and see that happen. I hope to go and see something like that. I imagine any race we get is going to be fantastic, but I am definitely excited to see your next races. Val, do you have any questions?
Most of my questions have been answered, but once again, GG to both of y'all. Very, very well done across the entire tournament from both of you. And just a little unfortunate today, Zilch, but still incredible running on your end.
Yeah, happens, but I had a lot of fun, so thank you.
Well, thank you both, and I believe this will be us getting ready to sign off, as this has been an incredible race, and want to go and let you both sit back, bask, and just take pride in your races, because this was definitely a great one. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking the time out to do the commentary, and the tracker and the restreamer. Thanks a whole bunch, and catch you guys next time.
Yes, shoutouts again to our restreamer Dathis, our tracker Ravlin, my co-commentator Valvalis Skunk. It has been a great pleasure commentating with you today.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to commentate with you, Baka, even if I do have to put up with puns.
I was trying not to be too punishing today, but speaking of too much, let's give a little too much love to Euphoric Lemon, as I believe they are playing more Free Enterprise. So let's go and give them our love, and have a great afternoon.
See everyone next time.